Hey guys, my name is Paul Hudson. I write a blog called Playas y Plazas about food, travel, and culture in Mexico, and I sell wine for a living. Today I want to talk a little bit about the history of Mexican wine and make a couple recommendations to get you started on learning more about Mexican wine. So Mexico has a long history with making wine, going back all the way to the 16th century, but the wine culture never really took off like it did in places like Argentina and Chile. That is until recently. So in the last couple of years, the interest in wine has absolutely exploded. People are drinking more wine than ever before, and producers are making better and better bottles. So most of the industry is located around Baja California, about 90% of it, but there's also some really good vineyards coming out of Coahuila, Querétaro, Guanajuato, and some smaller vineyards in states of Zacatecas and here in Jalisco. Today I'm going to talk about two wines that come from Baja California. One comes from the Valle de Guadalupe and one comes from the Valle de San Vicente, a little bit south of Ensenada. To start with, we have Lacheto Nebbiolo. L.A. Aceto, commonly referred to as Lacheto, is the largest winery and vineyard owner in the country. The brand was incorporated in 1983, but the Cheto family has been making wine in Baja California going back to 1928, going back 3 generations. They've done a lot of the work developing the local wine market, getting Mexicans to drink more wine, and introducing them to better quality wine. Back in 1965, they invited a young Italian winemaker by the name of Camillo Magoni to Baja California. Camillo is from a small town in Lombardy and obsessed with the Nebbiolo grape. Back then, the conventional wisdom was that quality Nebbiolo could only be grown and made in northern Italy. Camillo saw something special in the Valle de Guadalupe and set out to make world-class Nebbiolo on the other side of the planet. Today, Nebbiolo is thriving in Mexico, and especially at Lacheto. Celebrated winemaker Paul Hobbs has described Lacheto Nebbiolo as one of the 25 great Nebbiolos, and the only one that doesn't come from Italy. This is a wine that I can safely recommend to most of my guests because I know that everybody loves it. This is a fruit-forward wine with ripe, dark fruit on the nose that makes you think of blackberry, fig, and cherry. There are aromas of baking spices, truffle, leather, and tobacco. This wine spends 14 months in French oak, and even when it's young, it has a relaxed texture to it. The bottle retails for a little over 200 pesos and is easily accessible all over Mexico. This is probably the easiest bottle for you to find in the United States and in other countries. I think this is an excellent introduction to Mexican wine because of the price, the quality, and the fact that it's easily accessible across the planet. The next wine that I want to talk about is called Vino de la Reina. And unlike Lacheto, Vino de la Reina is a very small operation, and they've only been doing this for a few years. Roberto Curiel is an architect by trade, and back in 2006, he started making wine as a hobby. His family has over 100 acres in Baja California, most of which is in the Valle de San Vicente, with a little bit of acreage in the Valle de Guadalupe. They grow Sangiovese, Nebbiolo, Chardonnay, and Pinot Noir. Their Sangiovese is excellent. If you're a fan of Chianti Superiore, then you will love Vino de la Reina Sangiovese. It's a medium-bodied wine with bright acidity. There is tart red fruit on the nose like raspberry, cherry, and strawberry, and just enough oak to add a touch of vanilla without overpowering the fruit. There is an old-world minerality that is typical of the wines found in this part of Baja California. This is a wine that we love recommending because it pairs so well with pastas and pizzas. It's a wine that my waitstaff absolutely loves, and they know that our guests are also going to enjoy it. Vino de la Reina retails for about 250 pesos and is going to be a little bit harder to find in the United States. I recommend taking a trip to their tasting room in the Valle de Guadalupe where you can try all of their wines. These are my 2 wines for the week, and I want to encourage you to keep an eye out for Mexican wine. Talk with your wine purveyors and tell them that you're interested in Mexican wine and that you want them to stock Mexican wine where you buy. That's all for tonight. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time at Playas y Plazas.